Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittney Bundles, and today's video is another Business Talks video. If you are new to this channel, then I want to let you all know that I am doing a new segment called Business Talks. And pretty much with this segment, I am going over questions that I get from you all. A lot of the questions are from entrepreneurs or upcoming entrepreneurs. I have a forum on one of my websites. If you go to keepingupwithbrittney.com, there's a forum where you can actually just leave like questions and you can chat with me. I also have my cell phone number where you can text me directly. So whatever questions I get, I'm going to read them, respond back, but then I'll take a look to see if they're a good topic or question for our blogs. So be sure to go over to that website, keepingupwithbrittney.com. Make sure that you leave me a question. Be sure to subscribe to my mailing list. And then also want to start shouting out people that are commenting. I expressed in my last Girl Talk video how important it is for the algorithm for you all to comment and like the video. And so I appreciate everyone that clicked the like button, and I appreciate everyone that has commented on my last Girl Talk video. So the first shout out goes to Nikki Smith Hair Collection. She commented great information with an emoji. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. She's been a great supporter. She's been around for, I want to say, like forever. So I really appreciate her support. Again, go check out her channel, Nikki Smith Hair Collection. She also has a business. So just Google Nikki Smith Hair Collection and go ahead and show her some love, because I truly appreciate the support. If you're listening, thank you so much. Again, you don't understand how much I appreciate the comment and the support and the like and just everything that you've done. I really appreciate it. So if you do want to be featured next, then I'm going to ask that you comment under my video. Be sure to like the video, and I'm going to be doing shout outs in hopefully every video if I get comments. So let me go ahead and get to the question. So today's question is, my business partner paid our vendor with a payment that did not go through. Our vendor shipped the hair and is wanting payment. My friend was supposed to pay and cannot. I want to keep using this vendor, but my friend seems unbothered. All right, so that's what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to give you the backstory in just a minute. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Please make sure that you are subscribed, and let's get right into the video. So the backstory. So whenever I get questions, there are times that I ask for additional information, because I want to make sure that I'm understanding the circumstance in its entirety. So this particular question came from an entrepreneur. She has a hair business, but the hair business is not solely hers. She partnered with her friend, and so her friend and her have this hair business. They started about 1.5 years ago, but they've been on and off. They just got their website back up and working before their website was disabled for a few months. And so now that their website is up and running, they're wanting to have a fresh start with their business in a sense, and they purchased hair through their vendor. Now, this vendor that they've purchased hair from is a vendor that they have worked with before, and they really enjoy the connection with the vendor. They have a good relationship with the vendor, and the vendor always sends out good quality hair. So I'm going to read the question again with that tidbit. So the question is, my business partner paid, I don't even know if is it a question or a statement. I don't know. Let me just read it. My business partner paid our vendor with a payment that did not go through. Our vendor shipped the hair and is wanting payment. My friend was supposed to pay and cannot. I want to keep using this vendor, but my friend seems unbothered. So pretty much, what should you do? What's my advice? What are my takes on this scenario? So if you have a business partner, and let's just paint out the story. You and your friend decide to go into business. You're both partners now. You place an order, or she places an order through you all's vendor. Somehow the payment doesn't go through. Like it goes through, but it doesn't. And that can happen depending on which payment merchant you use. It could be like a kickback, where someone purchases something, but they don't have enough funds. And so after a few business days, their institution kicks back or denies that purchase. And so the vendor is still needing their payment. Now, it sounds like an easy fix, like, okay, just go ahead and pay the vendor. But when you have a business partner and you have specific roles or specific agreements, that can make it a little bit more challenging than to just go ahead and pay it, because you may have invested in the website getting up, for an example. You may have invested in the branding items, and your business partner slash friend may have had the responsibility to purchase this batch of inventory. And so instead of saying, I'm just going to go ahead and pay for it, there may be some hesitation there because of the different agreements that you all have on the back end. So I'm going to go over some tips as to what I would do and how I would evaluate this whole scenario if it was me. The first thing that I put down is reevaluate your partnership and make sure that you're doing business with integrity and that you partner with someone that has business integrity. I cannot stress how much it can become either a blessing, or how much it could be a blessing, or I don't want to say a curse, but it could not be so, it could be something that goes terribly wrong when you're working with family members and friends. And it's really important to realize that when you go into business with someone, just because they may be a good friend and just because they may be a close family member does not mean that they're a good business partner. I'm just going to leave that there. I'm not going to get too deep into that in this point, but it doesn't mean they're a good business partner, and it doesn't mean they have the same business ethics as you. You may be someone where you're, I want to be straight up with my customers. I want to make sure that I'm setting the right expectation. I want to do what's right. I want to offer good quality every time. And you may partner with someone who is your friend and a good friend, but they may not have the same qualifiers for business, or the same expectation, or the same integrity in business as you do. So when you're looking for a business partner, some of the conversations that need to be had is really, maybe uncomfortable, but it's digging into how that person feels about business ethics in total. What would they do in this circumstance? Why are they even starting the hair business? How are their communication skills? How is their patience? What are they most likely to do in a situation like this? Now, of course, even if you have those conversations, there's no guarantee that if something arises, they're going to stick to what they said initially. But you want to make sure you have a feel for that, because there's been a lot of friendships that have broken up over business. Because when you put business in it, you put investments in it, you put money into it, it can definitely turn into something that's nasty. And that's why a lot of people say, I like to keep my personal and business separate, because it's a different ball game. And I realized too, when I started my salon, that it was best for me to keep business and personal separate as well, just because it simplified a lot of things. You know what I mean? So it can work. I've seen business partnerships with best friends flourish, and I've seen business partnerships with best friends do very poorly. So it just kind of depends, but you want to reevaluate that partnership, asking yourself, is this something that I want to continue to be a part of? Does she operate in the same type of integrity or with the same moral compass that I'm operating with? Because the last thing you want is for you to build up a business with so much, of your investment and your time and your money and, integrity and all this good stuff. And then you have someone on the side of you that is counterproductive. So they're not adhering to what you're doing. You find yourself constantly trying to build it up. You take it more serious. They're not, you're doing your research. They're not. First, ask yourself, is this a good business partner for me at this time? Okay, the next thing that you want to do is you want to find a way to pay the vendor. If the vendor that you're working with has been a vendor that you've done business with in the past, and you like their quality, the communication is good, the relationship is there, the last thing you want to do is mess up the relationship with your vendor. If you are selling products, your vendor is a huge part of your business's success. Yes, you do the marketing. Yes, you build the relationships with the customers and clients. Yes, it's ultimately your business. It falls on your shoulders, your responsibility. I get all of that. But also a big part of your business is the quality and the products that people are coming to purchase from you. And so if you don't have that quality anymore, if you don't have that vendor behind you anymore, then that's going to, number one, it's going to cost you more money to get out and find another vendor. Even if you have a backup vendor, you already have a vendor right now that you have a good relationship with. You've established that. And a lot of times that takes time. You've already purchased with this vendor. You've already tested their products and the quality. And so good vendors are not, I don't want to say they're not easy to come by, but they're not easy to come by. You know what I mean? And if you do come by them, you're going to spend some time and money finding out that vendor is good and being able to build that relationship with the vendor. So it's important to salvage that relationship. It's important to try and maintain that relationship at all costs. Like I said in the beginning of the video, depending on what your responsibility is and what your partner's responsibility is for the business, you may be thinking to yourself, hey, I'm not going to go ahead and pay for this inventory. She should have paid for it. But at the end of the day, if this is a business that you want to run, even if you decide not to continue the partnership and you all split up, if you still want to keep a good relationship with that vendor, I recommend finding a way to pay the vendor. Okay. Talking with your partner, figuring out how they can get the money to them, or if worse comes to worse, you may have to chalk it up as a loss, pay your partner's portion, and then use it as a learning lesson to not work with that partner in the same capacity as you did before, or not work with them at all. The next thing that I want to talk about is communicate with your vendor on alternatives if you cannot pay. If you can't pay, the last thing you want to do is just to ghost your vendor, to go missing. Because as much as you want to do business with a vendor that is responsible and is they're gonna show up, they're gonna provide you with good quality, they're gonna be consistent. The vendor is looking to do work with a company that has the same type of values, right? No one wants to do business with someone that you cannot rely on. So even if you ghost the vendor for like months and then you try to come back months later, that's still it still shows, it's showing a red flag, so to say, with doing business with you. You know what I mean? So it's important to communicate with the vendor, let your vendor know, I apologize that our payment, and making sure that you speak on behalf of you all, because you don't want to be in a position where you're downing someone else, especially your partner. You don't want to be in a position where you're throwing them under the bus just because it doesn't look good and it's not the right thing to do. And the vendor is going to look at that too, Not saying they won't do business with you or anything. I'm just saying they're going to look at that. How we act, what we do, the choices we make defines our character. So you want to make sure that you're always acting within integrity. And so I wouldn't just go to my vendor and say, I don't know what my partner did, why she didn't make the payment. She gets on my nerves doing this. This is one reason I didn't want to start a business with her. But going to the vendor and asking, I was just advised that our payment didn't go through. I apologize for that. Definitely want to get you your money, especially since you sent out the products. What are some options? If I don't have the payment right now, can I ship the hair back to you and pay for shipping? Do you have any buy now, pay later options where I can resubmit the payment and do the payment through Klarna or Afterpay, whatever options they have. But do not avoid the vendor. Don't ghost the vendor. Don't just not reply, because it's worth more to fix that relationship right then and there than it is to feel like you got a one up by getting the inventory. Because the inventory that you get this time, even if you quote unquote got away with not paying, or if you think you're going to get away with not paying, it's not worth not having that relationship with that quality vendor. Okay. I'm a strong believer of karma, and one way or the other, I believe that it will come back on your business. So it's important to just do things the right way. The next thing that I want to talk about is consider other inventory options. So if you are deciding to continue doing business with your business partner, your friend, you all may want to have a conversation about different ways to stock your business. Okay. Even if it's not stocking physically, and I'm talking about like drop shipping or doing the pre-order method, it may work better for your business at this time to not purchase in bulk. You typically get a better price when you are purchasing in bulk. And so if you are doing the pre-order method, you just have to weigh the options and realize that you're not going to make as much as you would if you are purchasing in bulk. But also, if you don't have the funds to purchase in bulk, making money and still generating income for your business and still being able to fulfill orders on behalf of your customers is better than just not doing anything at all. So look into different inventory options. Drop shipping is not a bad option. Pre-ordering is not a bad option. Purchasing some bundles on hand through wholesale is not a bad option, but you have to figure out what works best for you. Just because these options aren't a bad option don't mean that, it's the option for you. So you want to make sure that you're evaluating what works best. And in order to do that, you may have to try a couple different avenues first. Okay. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is set a clear budget and business guidelines, and also have a shared account. Consider getting a business account and sharing that account so that if anything happens, you all can take from the business account and not from your own personal pockets. So each order that you get, you put a percentage here, you put a percentage there, but make sure that when you're placing and divvying up the money, that some of the money goes into your joint account. Okay, that way, again, if something happens, you can pull from the joint account. Also, set clear expectations. This is something that a lot of people don't do when they are going into business with a family member or a friend, because they feel like they just, if anything comes up, they're so close and they're friends that they'll just be able to talk about it and hash it out. And hopefully that is how things work. But it's always best, even if you can talk about things and hash things out, it's always best to have a clear expectation of what is expected of everyone. It's always best to have clear guidelines, even a contract in place to protect yourself, because I have seen so many people that have started off as friends in business and as almost enemies in business, and you're like, whoa, how did that happen? Money, business, all that, it can change the dynamic of the relationship. Okay, so it's important that you realize that. I remember working in the credit union, and I would have people calling in, and they were going through a breakup, or let's say a divorce, and they would call and they would want to put a freeze on their account or stop a payment. And when they came in to do a withdrawal, put a freeze, stop a payment, whatever they wanted to do, I would notice that their account had been emptied. You know, whoever they were joined on the account with, their ex-spouse took off the money. And so I saw that happen a lot. And I'm like, wow, like this really makes me hesitant on wanting to combine accounts. And so when I got married, you know, I was thinking of, you know, should I combine accounts? Should I have a joint account? So it's very important to remember that typically, and what I took from that is people don't, you know, really plan for divorces when they get married. You know, I'm not saying that throughout, and some people may, you know, some people do prenups and things and they keep separate accounts, but I'm saying a lot of people don't, because you're not planning on divorcing the person that you married. At least I hope not. When you get married, you're not thinking about divorcing. When you become someone's friend, you're not thinking about, well, what if we fall out next summer? Because you know what I mean? But things like that happen. They happen a lot. So it's important to really make sure you're crossing your T's, dotting your I's, if you know what I mean. But that's my, that's my 2 cents and feedback on that scenario. So I hope that helped you all if you're out there, and if you have a similar scenario, or you know, if you know someone that's going through something similar. I hope that this helps with some advice and some pointers that I would consider. I do want to encourage you all to leave a comment. Be sure to like the video. Also, go to my website, keepingupwithbrittney.com, subscribe to my email mailing list, and leave your question. Also, be sure to check out my hair website at badcheckhair.com. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you all in the next video. Bye.